And the cheeses, all right, today I'm going to be showing you how to make eggs with green onion. Absolute goodness. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to need is eggs. So you have 2 eggs right here. And then I have some green onion, which I'm going to be cutting up and adding to the eggs. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to be adding a little bit extra stuff in it, like seasoning. So you can also add your own type of seasoning in whenever you're making your eggs with green onion. So I'm going to go ahead and set the eggs to this part right here. And when I'm slicing up my green onion, getting closer so you can see this a little bit better, I have my sword right here, the knife. And if you look at it, at the bottom part of the green onion, there are, it's this white part right here. Now this right here, it's a little bit tougher to chew. So some people cut this off. However, I don't like wasting. So what I do is I actually cut this part really small, like really thin, so it cooks faster and more through. And I'll add this to the pan before I add the eggs and the green onion. So I'm having this right here. Now the bottom part of it is a little bit harder to chew through. So I go ahead and cut this part off and I slide that to the side right here. You see that? Slide that to the side because I'm going to be adding that first to allow it to cook a little bit more. And if you look at this part of the green onion, you'll see that this is not as tough to chew or to cut through as this. This part right here takes a little bit less time to cook. So I can actually have these slices a little bit larger if I choose to. All right, so I'm going to cut this up. So now I have the green onion. All cut up. And I'm going to set this to the side. And while this is going on, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the pan to get it heater rating a little bit faster, or by the time I'm done scrambleizing my eggs. Absolute goodness. So I have this right here. These are my eggs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply just crack the eggs and put them in here. And so with this, some people crack it on the edge of the bowl. I, however, find it a little bit easier if I crack it on a flat surface and then open it up like that. You see how I did that? Absolute. Gonna go ahead and crack that one. And so I have that in there. Now once I have the eggs inside of the bowl, it comes time to scramblize these. And so I scramblize them or mix them with a spoon because I find that this gives a better consistency than using a knife. So once I have these mixed up to a good consistency, some people add seasonization to it, such as salt, and pepper. Go ahead and twist that and push it real good. All right, so I have that in there, salt and pepper, and mix that up to get the flavoration permeating the eggs. And I'm gonna add a little bit something extra to it. This I got here, right here from Trader Joe's, Mushrooming Company, multi-purpose umami seasoning blend. All right, so this adds a good flavoration to the mixation right here. So I'll put a little bit of umami in there. And I have a little twist to this recipe, right? I'm going to add a little bit of cheese right here. I have some cheese that I'm going to add to the flavoration. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut a little bit of this cheese and cut the cheese and add this to the eggs. Now some people add it directly to the eggs right here. I have a different methodation for adding the cheese after I cut it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the cheese and set that to the side. So we have the green onion, we have the eggs, and I just cut the cheese. So I have the pan right here. It's heating up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some olive oil. This right here is California olive ranch extra virgin olive oil. So I'm going to add this to the pan. Now it's important that you start heating the pan up before you add the olive oil because you don't want the olive oil to burnerate. So I have this. I'm going to add don't touch the pan like that, like I did. I'm a trained unprofessional. So I am going to add the olive oil to it. So I have the olive oil in it. And what I'm going to do is stirrate olive oil. You see that? And you remember the green onion, the part that's hard to chew. I'm going to go ahead and add that to it. Okay, go ahead, add the green onion too. And what's happening is this is going to start to frothy. It's going to start to frothy, and it's going to start to toasterate on parts of the green onion. And when it does that, it brings out a lot of the flavoration, allowing the olive oil to permeate. Go ahead, add that. And it's going to give a good texturation to the eggs. So I have that in there. And I'm going to add the cheese. Now this is a trick that you might want to use yourself. And so like right before I add the egg to the pan, I have the green onion frotting. Give that another spin. I'm going to add the cheese that I cut to the pan. And it's going to start to cook. And you don't want it to cook too fast because it'll burnerate. All right, so I'm going to add that cheese. To it like that. And the cheese is going to start to frothy. Getting closer so you can see that. So once I add that in there, I'm going to go ahead and add the egg. And the cheese is already starting to melterate, and some of it will toasterate. So add the egg to it, and you see it's starting to frothy on the outside. And what I'm going to do is, right at this point right here, I'm going to add the green onion to the pan. See that? Green onion. And I'm placing it all around so it's evenly distributed. I'm going to go ahead and with this, I'm going to take my spoon and just pull it back like a wave cap. Okay. See some of the cheese right here toasterated. Now this is better done in a non-stick pan, and if it were in a non-stick pan, I wouldn't be using a metal spoon. So the trick is, with this type of pan, is to keep it a burner rating. So I pull it back. Just like that. You see that? And the pan is hot enough to where at this point right here, I can go ahead and turn it off, and the heat will finish frotting the egg. Give it one more spin right here. Pull it back like a wave cap, And then, see that? Getting closer, you can see this. Now what I'm going to do here is, now that I have it fry-tating like this, I'm going to go ahead and take the Mushroom and Company multi-purpose umami seasoning blend. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on top for flavoration. Alright, and so now I have the eggs with green onion in the pan. You see how it's mixturated right here. You see how the green onion eggs are there perfectly. And that is how you make eggs, scrambled eggs, with green onion. I hope this video was helpful. Thanks a lot for watching. Absolute goodness.